Hi, this is János, and this is my little channel here, and I'm talking today about my dream camera. And even half a year ago, I really thought that my dream camera was like a Leica Q2 monochrome, or now, since then, we have Leica Q3. Why not? Probably very soon we'll have Leica Q4 or 5, so you can never stop dreaming. And actually, that was really something that when you look into YouTube and try to find advice on camera gear, sooner or later, after watching maybe like 2,000 or 3,000 videos on camera recommendation, what is everyone's favorite, you will find the Leica videos. And those of you who don't know, Leica did not just make fantastic camera gear like in the 70s or in the past, but they still make cameras today, and they make digital cameras, and they make these high-end digital cameras which are like really advanced cameras at really advanced exorbitant prices. And there's the Q series, and it's basically like a camera that looks like one of the older film camera bodies, same size and same feel to it, and it has a built-in lens, and it has a 28mm lens with a full-frame sensor and all the whistles and bells of modern mirrorless technology added to it, with manual controls that make it feel like you are using a film camera. And people report on it that that they just keep on like selling their top of the line Canon and Sony gear and Nikon and everything else, because they like the feeling of shooting with the Leica so much better, and the simplicity that it gives you, that it's just, you know, a fixed 28mm lens, and that's it. You are not getting into collecting a bunch of lenses. That's it. And then you can, it's really compact, fits into a small package, but it's just an immensely powerful camera with an outrageously good lens that even at wide sharp at f1.7 it's really sharp. Even like at f1.7 it's super duper sharp, and people love it. And the only downside of it is the exorbitant price. I'm not going to name it. If you heard about this camera, you already know the prices, probably are more current on them than I am. Now all I can tell about it is that it costs more than what many would consider spending on a used car when they are budgeting for that purchase. So it's really something that people think about purchasing when you retire, and after you retired you buy that for yourself. If not, you are not a professional photographer, and just like, you know, you want to shoot pictures and you want the experience to count, to be a really good experience. And up to a couple months ago, that's what I thought, that's going to be my journey, that for the next couple of years I'm going to get whatever I get. You know, there are really nice mirrorless cameras coming out now. Basically everything that came out the past 5-10 years is absolutely astonishing, fantastic camera. You can buy anything you want, it will be really fantastic. And I thought that I just get something which is like a good deal. Everyone is looking for good deals, of course, because we don't have unlimited funds. That's the reason behind it. And you know, when I get old, when I retire, and I don't have to pay mortgage anymore, I can put that money towards a Leica Q2 monochrome. And for myself, I wanted the monochrome version for several reasons. Number one, in my experience, when I look at monochrome pictures, they just tell so much more of the story. When there's no color there, then you get a very different aspect of the moment that was captured. It will tell you something that goes beyond the limitations of how the human eye would see that situation normally. When you catch a picture on a film or on a digital format, doesn't matter. So in a format that you will be seeing a flat photo, a flat representation of the 3D reality that's in front of you, you are already changing it. And it will be a different story than what your eyes told you when you have looked at it. And when you, that's already an alteration. And it's going to be different from what we see when we are right there. Even when we take a photo of the highest, if an infinite resolution camera that has 100% color rendering perfection, unlimited dynamic range, even that will be very different from what your eyes see in 3 dimension, because losing a dimension already alters a lot. And that's partly because the eyes are really adaptive, and when you're looking at something, depending on where you focus with your eyes, it's going to tell a very different story for your brain. But when you snap with the camera, then the focus was set somewhere, and everything is, you have captured the moment that's unchanged basically. And for me, when you look at the monochrome version of it, it often tells so much more of the story, because I think for me how I see it is that when there is color, then the imperfections of how the real life colors are and how the colors are on the photo, that draw away my attention, and I get fixated on the color problems and why are the colors so weird. Why is that person has a pink face? What's that thing over there? That kind of things, like what? And your eyes naturally get drawn to that aspect of the photograph. But when you take out the color and there's just the light intensity present, that tells the story behind the story. So that was why I gravitated towards my dream camera being a monochrome camera. And of course, when you go into the Leica cult, like I almost did, is when you look at the monochrome camera, it doesn't have the color filter in front of the sensor. So basically each pixel is a true pixel in the camera. There's no Bayer filter and no BS that removes and smears the picture and plays with the dynamic information. You get the pure, unchanged dynamic information for every single pixel. And so that's why the monochrome version of the camera, when you're looking for monochrome films, is just so much more powerful than the color sensor, because on the color sensor you have the color filter in front of every pixel, and each pixel is just getting you one single color channel, and it's not getting you the whole dynamic range. So if you want to transfer it into a monochrome picture, then basically each pixel is going to tell you just a part of the intensity story. It's never going to work out as a full monochrome format. So that was my Leica dream, and I think it's still my dream. Why? Can't we dream? Of course we can dream. But do you need to shoot yourself if you cannot buy a Leica right now, because your whatever photographs you are taking until the moment your Leica arrives are going to be worthless, and you should really, until then, maybe just learn how to play violin or choose something else? No, not at all. It's really just work on yourself, on your skills, and look for advice, what people say, how you can get the feel that those people feel when they're shooting with Leica. And there are other options, other cameras which give you the same experience, or very similar. Of course, they can't give you the exact same experience. The logo doesn't say Leica, and etc. But they put your mind into that kind of mode that okay, this is how I'm shooting, that I'm really just the camera, I'm just dealing with, you know, the ISO, I'm dealing with the aperture, I'm dealing with the speed, and all you have to do is keep these in mind, and then just work on your composition and how you play with light, how you capture everything, and how you capture the moment, how you translate it, how you tell a story, so you become a storyteller. And that's why people love their Leicas, because the camera does not get in the way with immense complexity. Of course it has immense complexity, and if you want to fiddle with the buttons, you can go that way, but you don't have to. It doesn't force you to just fool around with all the settings. The way the buttons are on it and the layout, everything, it really lends itself into that workflow that, okay, I want to be like an old school photographer with the basics and shoot as if it was a film camera, but I'm shooting on a digital format and not a film, but still the same experience. And you can have this experience with the older camera gear, which are the older DSLRs, like for example the Canon 5D or the 6D Mark I. These are like primitive, by today's standards, primitive cameras, or even if you want to buy something even cheaper, like the Canon 20D or the Nikon D90, and they will give you absolutely fabulous pictures, and they don't have that complexity that you are forced into that path to take technically perfect photographs. Because nowadays with the modern mirrorless cameras, they force you into that path to have the desire to have a technically perfect shot. And the problem with that is that once you make a technically perfect shot, and let's say you post it on Flickr, no one cares at all about them, because that's the norm today. So 20 years ago, 50 years ago, achieving technical perfection on a photograph was a challenge, and very few could do it. And I think that's why it has today such a cult status, that everyone, oh, I want to have a technically perfect photograph, but if you achieve it, it doesn't mean anything, because now with the mirrorless camera, you can snap everything, it's technically perfect. And if it's not, you go to Lightroom or Photoshop or Topaz AI or Photoshop with AI, and it will be perfect. It's a no-brainer anymore. It's not a challenge. It's a kind of like a meat grinder. There's nothing added to it. For you to become a better photographer, you have to evolve your photography skills. And the more you have a camera gear that lends itself to chase technical perfection, the further away you are going to get turned from that road that will set you towards becoming a better photographer. And this has happened to me. So in the older days I had DSLR cameras. Actually I had the Canon 20D. And I just grew frustrated with it, because my photos were really junk compared to my friends who are photographers, and I thought that it's because I don't have, you know, the 5D or the 5D Mark II or the Mark III when it came out, and I just gave up on it. But the reality is that they can take like a good take with my Canon, like much better shots compared to me taking a shot on the 5D Mark III. So it was never a problem. And now, when I'm looking back at the photos I made with the 20D, I am just shocked how good those photos are from a technical standpoint. Yeah, framing and composition, if I had two more thumbs, I would be pointing them all the way down to the ground. They suck wind. But when I open up in DPP4, which is like Canon's software. It's like Lightroom, but Canon's version. And now it's much more powerful than the primitive DPP that I had 15 years ago, 10 years ago. And also, the number one thing is your computer screen. Why? The number one thing, you are unsatisfied with your old camera gear. So if you have, let's say, like the early Nikons, even APS-C sensor ones like the D90, 90D, or like the Canons like the 20D, or the 40D, 50D, something like that, all of them just take fabulous pictures. And if you don't think so, if you don't like how technically they look like, it's two reasons. One, maybe you did not get the focus right, and then it's your skills that need to be perfecting. And number two is your computer screen is incapable of telling you the story. And both of these were my life's story. And I will tell about both of these, how they completely ruined my photography path. And now, when I get back to it, I get back to photography because I have another YouTube channel which is about audio, about equipment that make music, that make sound. And to have that channel, I needed a camera, right, to take the video. And when I was taking the videos, I realized, oh, I haven't shot photos in ages. So I started also using the camera to take photos. And you know, the whole thing just came back to me. And then what happened? You will find out in my next video. So thank you for listening. Please like my videos, subscribe to this channel if you find it interesting. If you don't, then just thank you so much for watching, and I wish you all the best. And also, I have this little thing called Buy Me a Coffee, that support page, and that's not sending Kona coffee to me or something like that. Actually, I don't even drink coffee. I'm a tea drinker, and but it's an electronic thing. So if you go to that link, then you can donate to this channel, and I will use your precious donations to improve my camera gear and improve the microphone that I'm talking to, and just help to give you better content. And don't be afraid that my Buy Me a Coffee shows real world audio, because that's my other channel. And I just didn't want to set up a different Buy Me account for the two channels. I don't want to overcomplicate my life. So it's the same channel, I mean the same person behind the channel, that's me, and your support comes to me, and you can put in messages as well when you give me some donation, if you do, and if you can put in questions as well that you would like to have answered, and I can answer that. And you can also put in like, okay, I'm donating this for your camera channel, and please use it to get a better camera. But actually, as life is, that if you donate for real world audio, I'm also using that donation to get a better camera, to run the channel better. So it's the same purpose for both channel donations. Of course, if you donate for real world audio, if you are an audio user, then I will also use it to show you tricks on how to improve your audio system. And I think by now I have overcomplicated everything and filled everyone's imagination to the brim. And anyways, just thank you so much for being here, for listening, and I really hope that the advice I'm giving is helping you. And the next episode, where I'm talking about the monitor and the focus, I think this is something that will be very substantial and very beneficial for you, because that was something that literally changed my complete approach to photography, to camera gear, and how useful or useless the photos are you are taking, or useful and useless the gear that you are using, and do you need to upgrade or not? So we will find out. Thank you. Have an awesome day. Bye bye.